And welcome to another amazing live session here on LinkedIn. It's our audio only, apart from when we go live and record it like this, in which case you get to see my face. Lucky you! No, not really. But today's session is all about how to survive the AI tsunami and how to upskill and raise your game. As always, we'll be joined by a cast of thousands, of which we'll only let about 20 into the door. But you're welcome and you're invited to watch it anytime you want. So welcome to Speak on Stage. We're starting the show right now. And as always, it's a pleasure having you with us right here. Broadcasting across the world from Dubai and from, where is it you are, Debbie, in the UK? Keep telling me, I keep forgetting because I think I blot out most of the places from the UK from my mind. Where is it that you are?
Berkshire. I'm in Berkshire.
So, let's do this again because nobody's listening. Broadcasting live from Dubai and Berkshire. Whereabouts in Berkshire?
Newbury.
Newbury? Okay. Broadcasting live from Dubai and Newbury in Berkshire, we have our special LinkedIn live session of Speak on Stage. And everyone's welcome to join us. And we'll have lots of fascinating conversations. So let's start off asking you, Debbie, how was your week since I last saw you have a Game Changers session on Friday night?
Well, let's just say that since Friday, not much has changed, Dave, but
Yeah.
I'm busy putting together my 12-week program, as I'd mentioned on Friday, which will be launching in June, aimed at small businesses. Yep. So I'm having fun with that.
That's very exciting. And hopefully we'll have Mary Rose join us as well, because she had some fascinating news as a game changer on things that she was doing that was different. She's doing really well across her company, and I'm hoping that's going to turn into incredible stuff, which is wonderful too, as well as your launch too. And we'll talk a little bit more about our launch a little later in today's show. We only do it for 60 minutes, by the way, so welcome to everybody who's joined us. Clement, John, Helen, and Jess. We will be looking for people to join us on stage a little later to share their thoughts and ideas and comments, as always. And the way to do that is to basically press the button that says raise your hand. We'll bring you on stage and get you to say anything you want to share. Normal rules apply, by the way. Don't make it a monologue that lasts for half an hour, because we only have a whole full hour for the show, of which since I've been speaking, we've got 59 minutes left. Aziza, how are you today? That's my wife, by the way. Just before you think, oh, Eve's a bit familiar. Not anymore. We're married. How are you today, Aziza?
I'm good, thank you.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, she's good. Well, thank you for sharing that. Today we're going to be talking about how to survive the AI tsunami, upskill and raise your game. Now, a lot of people pretend that the AI thing is just going to fit in like an update from Google or from Apple for iPhones and all the rest of it. Oh yeah, AI, yeah, by using that, you have no idea what AI really is going to do for everybody. It's kind of crazy. Let me put this into illustration before I actually go into this full presentation. I'm going to, not really a keynote, let's just spend a couple of minutes sharing the ideas for anybody who turns up nice and early so we can get hold of the things to start working on. But if you saw my podcast on Tuesday, which goes out live onto LinkedIn, then you'll know this fact. If not, then it might be something that kind of excites you and scares you. If you use ChatGPT 4, it's apparently got the IQ of 150. When you look at Albert Einstein, he had an IQ of 160. Now that's ChatGPT 4, which is 10 times smarter than ChatGPT 3.5. If you've got the paid version of ChatGPT, then you'll know the difference. And if you've got no idea what ChatGPT is, this is AI. Pay attention. It's kind of scary if you don't. The next version is obviously ChatGPT 5, which is due to come out shortly. But they've already got, excuse me, sorry for that. We can delete that from the video. We've already got ChatGPT 7, which is as far as they've got now, but they only release it in dribs and drabs. Now, Mo Godat had a really interesting podcast with Stephen Bartlett that I listened to during my power walks sometime this week. And he was sharing that he thinks it's the biggest scary thing that's ever happened to the human race. You're saying, who's Mo Godat? He's the guy who was a chief business officer for Google X, and he was in charge of AI, and he saw what was happening. He saw the fact there were no guidelines, There are no ropes in place to slow it down. Nothing like that. It was just like AI wars between all the companies. And he says it's not going to be far too long, maybe 5 years, 10 years, not much more than that, till AI is 1,000,000,000 times smarter than the smartest person on the planet. That's how fast it grows. That's how, because it's growing itself. We can't really tell what's going on. That's what makes it so fascinating. And at the best case scenario, it likes us and it works with us. It's already intelligent. People say, oh no, I can switch it off. No, the way it's growing, it already acts like it's intelligent. It's not quite fluent with the way that we speak. Another best case scenario is it looks around and says, oh, we don't actually need any of these people. I didn't even notice the people. Let's just move on to bigger and better things. So it goes on and does something completely different. Hopefully, somewhere in that line, we can actually work with AI and raise our game. But what we have to do is we have to, meanwhile, look at where we are with what's coming through with AI and work out what we do with that. So that's kind of what the beginning of the conversation is about today. Hello to Joanne and to Iman and Sita, who's joined us as well. Feel free, by the way, in the beginning of today's session, we always ask you to share this post with everybody, because that brings in more people. Otherwise, what we get is an avalanche of people arriving at the end. Hello, Simonetta. And then when people arrive at the very end, we say, can I get on stage? And I say, no, you should have come earlier. Why didn't you tell us? I did. Well, I was busy watching Netflix. Well, you shouldn't have. That's a conversation I had with myself, by the way. It's not really what other people do, but it is similar. So if you want to take a few moments to just share that. And meanwhile, I'm going to throw it to Debbie Gray, because Debbie, when we did the game change, we've been doing game changes now for almost 2 years. And I brought in a conversation about AI to our group. And I remember when I first pointed out what ChatGPT 3.5, or 3, I think it was, could do at the time. And everyone was like, wow. I said, you can ask it to do anything. And it was just like a real extension of Google. It's just gone through the roof since then. What were your thoughts on it then? And what are your thoughts on it now?
Okay, well, at the time, as you know, I was working for Google. So when you basically told us about ChatGPT and you need to sign up now, I was like, wow, okay. Hadn't heard much, if anything, about it. The development that has happened since is just shocking. It's like it's got its own momentum, it's got its own journey. It's incredible how much has developed since your introduction 2 years ago.
Thank you. In fact, if I said 2 years ago, I'm guessing Game Changers has been running for about 2 years. It came out November 22, I think it was. So I know it's been around for a year. It's about a year and a bit. So that's kind of when it's about. But yeah, I mean, I introduced it as soon as I had it and access to it. Within about a week, 2 weeks of it getting launched, I shared it with everybody, and I'm very, very interested to see what happens with it next. But I'm finding it already a little bit overpowering. For those of you who are paying for the paid version of ChatGPT or any of them. Any other versions out there, every time you look at it, there's something new and you go, oh my goodness, that's a really good idea. I never even thought of using it like that. Right now, what I do is when I drop off Maya at school or pick up my daughter at school, on the way when I'm on my own, I'll just spark up the vocal version of ChatGPT and I'll treat it like a mentor and chat with it. And it's got some fascinating things that it does just from that conversation. So it really has grown out of that. What's your thoughts, Debbie?
Well, what I was going to add to that is the added bonus of being one of your game changers is that ChatGPT was introduced to us as a freebie for those that basically attended.
Oh, that's true.
And every single meeting that we've had since, you've introduced something discreetly to us, which has absolutely blown up. And on Friday, you did the same thing again. So I will be watching the space for that particular AI tool that you introduced on Friday.
Thank you. Yeah,
so and thank you for that.
My pleasure, and thank you for bringing it up. What we shared, I'm not going to say what the name of it is. You have to join the Game Changers to find out. But it is really like going to Google, but Google talking back, and Google taking you on a journey. Because what you tend to get with a lot of the search engines and a lot of AI is it kind of feeds you back what you're expecting, but this one was it's incredible, really effective. It's that good to see you as well. Mary Rose, good. I'm glad that you came out to play as well. We'll get you up on the stage too. I'm going to share with you very briefly the tips that I would suggest everyone considers on how to survive the AI tsunami. And then I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and also invite you to join us on stage. All you need to do, put your hands up, and then we'll bring you on stage. And as long as you don't blather on too long before you get to the point, then we'd love to have you there and be part of our brain trust. So here we go. Here's what you need to consider about really raising your game with AI, because the tsunami is already on its way. And in 2 years' time, they're saying in 2 years' time, if you haven't really reinvented your job description and put AI all over it, if not at the center of it, then you won't have one for much longer. So first thing is this: embrace continuous learning. The learning never stops. Keep yourself updated with the latest in AI and related technologies as much as you can. There's a phrase I tend to use, which is, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Now that sounds a terrible thing to say, but think about what it really means. It means that as long as you know more than the person next to you, then you should be okay. And hello to Meg, by the way, for joining us. I'm sure we have lots of conversations to catch up on too. Number 2 is boost your AI smarts and get cozy with AI. So understand the basics and how it serves your particular goals. So learning about it is one thing, but also make sure that it raises your own personal game. So therefore, you're doing stuff a lot better and look a lot smarter. And if you're just a startup or a one-person team, you can actually look like you've got a big team, because AI will fill in all the gaps of all the departments that you don't have. It will just tell you about the accounts. It will give you predictions and so on. I got AI to help me with my, I put together a proposal for my industry icon program, which is how much would it have costed all my clients to pay for a PR company to help them the way that I'd guided them on growing their brand and speaking. And it could actually break down, when we broke it down to the cost of getting more social media likes, to speaking on stage, and what it would cost to get that from the market if you hired a team. It came out to an incredible amount. And I couldn't quantify that before, but when you use AI and you give it the parameters, it makes you look bigger. All right, number 3, build a stellar personal brand. So that means that when you want to get your brand out there, and I suggest you do it faster than anybody around you, get on social media, get on professional networks, and really lean into what makes you very, very effective with your personal brand. Number 4 is polish those human skills. Now, if you're wondering where I'm getting this, by the way, you can see it. I've already put it into the details of today's post. So you can see these rather than me having to drop them in later on. So polish your human skills. AI's got nothing on human creativity, empathy, and the personal touch, and hone these skills. I'm actually going to give you something now, which I think will be a massive, massive point for the future of AI. And this is it. You know, when AI can write books, which it can do all that sort of stuff. And you know that if you go into a supermarket, you actually go in and you buy lots of products and you say, right, this is bread, this is whatever it is that you buy, but you pay a fortune for organic. And it says organic. It means it was done the old way by people in fields with, cows and hens that are running about and watching TV in between doing stuff. They're not caught in some horrible factory. And you pay a fortune for organic. I think we're going to end up with a label saying human or 100% human on stuff that's done that people will want to pay a premium for. What that's going to work in, which industries, we'll have to watch that space. But I think that's something to watch out for, so you heard it here first. All right, number 5 is network like a pro. Use your abilities to connect with folks within your industry, because you never know where the big opportunity that's going to come from next. But if you're connected to people now, it may be there's a new AI thing comes out and they just want to tell you first. Number 6, find a mentor, somebody like me. A mentor that can guide you through the maze of career transformation. And for everybody, in fact, we've got Mary Rose in the group who's going to come up and join us a little later and share with us her story. And literally, when you start working with somebody, it just opens up so much. I'm sure there's coaches and mentors in the group as well who can already attain to the success stories that they could share. Number 7, be open to new roles, because lots of roles will disappear, but lots of new ones will appear from out of nowhere. I mean, take it back 10 years ago. How many people would have considered being a social media manager as a proper job, or director of AI to be a proper job? Of course not. Ridiculous. I mean, only on Star Trek. Well, now they're very important roles. CIO, very important roles. So be open to the new changes and maybe jump into that gap beforehand and steer towards that change so you can at least add it to what you're doing now, or maybe pivot completely. Number 8, leverage AI tools. All the time there are new tools coming out. There's a dear friend of ours who's in our Game Changers group, who's an AI speaker. So he speaks about AI travels around the world, AIAIO, or McDonald. And what he's done is called Carl Lilrud, really smart guy. He's cloned his own voice, he's cloned his own way of responding, and he's created a podcast that's automatically done. So it invents a question, comes up with an answer he would give, it records that as him, and posts it automatically every day. Now, I'm nowhere near that advanced, but it's just incredible. Apparently, the latest stuff that ChatGPT is offering, I think they're offering it, is within 15 seconds they can clone your voice. You say something, and 15 seconds they'll have your voice already, so they can use you for anything. Scary, isn't it? And they're telling the banks, they haven't done it yet, but told the banks, because a lot of banks use voice recognition to be able to register when you're using your phone. They're saying to the banks, find a way to do it better than that, otherwise when we release it, you're going to get hacked by everybody, which is a warning to us as well. So number 9, drive innovation, encourage and be part of innovative solutions in your workplace. Don't just wait for somebody to come up with it. Everybody is doing the best that they can and making it up as they go along. So throw yourself into that. And number 10 is master change management. Equip yourself to help your team or yourself or your organization to navigate the new AI enhanced realities. So that's what I'm throwing out there. We've got a lot of people who's joined us in the group. Nice to see you as always. It's a pleasure. I'm going to throw it first of all to the ladies on stage. Any thoughts or comments on what we just shared there? Anything that comes to mind? Debbie or Aziza?
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree with the point you made, where in the future, the plus point will be signed by humans. Because at this point in time, today, how many of us are already sick of speaking to chatbots at banks, at websites? You're like, oh, can I just speak to a human being who can solve my problem in quickly? Or, my problem is unique to everybody else. So yeah, I agree with you, the plus point of humanizing AI in the future.
Well, I think that it would be so far that if you were guaranteed to talk to a human being every time you phoned through to a company, like a bank, then you'd prefer to pay a premium for that because you're paying for lots of stuff you don't need anyway because they're going to take it from you anyway. But if you're talking to a human being who's guaranteed to pick up the phone, can look at your details and help you straight away, that's a bank for me. I'm sick to death of driving along. Please tap in your 12
digit code plus the hash key.
Yeah, and then it freezes, and then you got to put it back in again, and it's like, sorry, you got it wrong, or then it kicks you out without telling you. So I'm beyond that, can't stand it. So that's my thoughts on it. Right, here we've gone on for 15 minutes. I'm going to throw it open to the audience. Does anybody want to join us on stage and share their thoughts on it? I'm going to ask Mary Rose to come and join us in a moment anyway, because she's doing something very special as a game changer that may be of interest to any of the people in the organizations that they work at, or they may want to work with Mary on her stuff. So Mary, if you want to put your hand up and join us on stage, I'd love for you to come and share your wisdom. As always, we finish with a dead stop at it's 1 o'clock now, 1:15 now in Dubai. So I'm 45 minutes from now. I don't know where you are in the world. So I apologize if I'm just acting like Dubai is the only place on the planet that matters. It's not. But for the ability to do timekeeping, of which I'm terrible at it is. So we're going to be having a dead stop, if we can do anyway. Feel free to come and join us on stage and share your thoughts as we go. If you don't want to talk and you just want to basically turn around and leave a comment, then do that. Drop it into the comment section, and my team, oh my goodness, who do you think you are, Dave? And the team will be able to point it out to me. Why, Dave, wouldn't you look at it yourself? Because if I press any buttons or look at anything, it kicks me out of the room. Because that's the sensitivity of this. Or my wife's in charge of it, and she just kicks me out for.
Can I just butt in briefly before Mary Rose comes up? Because I'm just thinking a lot of people would actually be scared of AI for the fact that it is that unknown. And I know that I was one of those that didn't understand how it played a part within business. Obviously, I've developed a lot since. So maybe it's worth asking the audience how many of them are scared of AI. How many of them are intimidated by what it could possibly do? And how many of them are unsure as how to relate it into their business?
Well, let's start with it because I think the easiest way to do that is either to put it into the comment section or just do a thumbs up. Now, Mary Rose, I'm trying to get you to join, but I think the thing's glitching a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, what's the easiest way to do this? I think I'm the only person who can do it. That's right. You drop down again. Let me see if I can add you back in again. Right, try and get back on the stage, and I'll see if I can let you in, because I was clicking on let her back in, and it just wasn't having any of it. So I apologize for that. It was kind of weird. All right, so first question with this, asking everybody in the room, thumbs up if you're comfortable with AI and you're happy to see what comes, even if it's just Terminators going down the corridor looking for where you're hiding under your desk. How many people don't think it's going to be like that? I'm completely comfortable. 1, 2, 3 people, and Zara just put a smiling face on it. I guess I'm okay with it. Okay, how many people are worried about AI? Put your thumb up, your hand up, or whatever, if it does worry you a little bit. One person. No, nobody's worried about it. And how many people are just watching?
That's not true, Dave. I think there are a couple of people who did it. I think there's something wrong with your side.
I'm gonna refresh my.
Yeah, Dave. A couple of people.
I'm gonna refresh
a couple of people.
See if that makes a difference.
So whilst you're refreshing, I will. So it really is finding a way to just get comfortable with it and start simply. Just start as simple as possible, small little steps, introducing it, getting yourself familiar with it, and just getting comfortable with it. Because it's here to stay. We really have to find a way to make it work for us. That is my little insight there.
And it makes sense.
You good to go, Dave?
Yeah. I think so. I'm back in the room again. Mary Rose, we'll try again, get you on stage. Put your hand up again, and let's see if it lets me put you on without lots of weird stuff happening. And hopefully it'll do it. Oh, what's going on? I'm pressing the allow to speak button, and
no.
It's not. Are you on?
Nope.
No. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's happening here. I'm trying to give me a very weird show. Does somebody else want to see if it can jump on stage and see if we can work it out with that and see what's going wrong with this? Because I've got no idea why it's not letting me do it. Zara, okay, let's get you on stage. Let's see if it allows you. Otherwise, it's going to be the world's weirdest show. The software's playing up a bit. Zara jumped straight on. Mary Rose, I don't know why it's not letting you on. Zara, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just here so you can check. It's working.
Good man. You're our guinea pig. What a big smile to go with it as well. Thank you to allow us to do that. Thank you so much. How's life for you at the moment?
It's doing great, and learning about AI, and I just started a new course on Alisans. It's a free website where you have to learn about if you want to learn about machine learning and about this natural. So yeah, just started, and now hearing this event.
Well, machine learning is one of the areas that people really want to be able to learn more about. You got to keep an eye out on Forbes magazine or one of these magazines, Entrepreneur magazine. It always tells us the most wanted skills in the workplace. And once upon a time, it was all about coding. People were saying, oh, yeah, we definitely need to have more coders. And it was in those days, I would turn around to my daughter and say, well, you got to go to do coding at school. But AI does coding faster than any human being can do it, much more effectively. So that's not even a thing anymore. Yeah, maybe you do need to learn it a little bit. But at the same time, there's other ways of being able to get the results you want. And lots of other people are really keen to help you with your projects too. So, Mary Rose, I don't know what. Oh, yes, we have success. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank goodness for that. I knew you'd take it personally after a while and just go, oh, Dave, it's just stupid ham-fingered buttons and all the rest. No, it's not.
No, I left the room and I came back again.
Okay, well, in that case, I think it's a reset of it. I remember when Clubhouse first started, which, of course, this isn't really a rip-off of it. Yes, it is. And there were always challenges with Clubhouse, but people were so happy to connect with people during the pandemic, but didn't care. And then this came out, which is more, well, it's better because you haven't got so many spammers. You've only got me. which is what we wanted to talk about AI, obviously, but I wanted to get you on as a guest because I want you to share your story with people about what it is that you do. Could you put that into 3 minutes?
Yep.
Okay, over to you.
So my official title is office manager, but I've started doing something called workplace happiness. And basically what I do is I've introduced mental well-being, or I would say wellness, into the corporate landscape in our office. It was something that people talked about in whispers, but nobody ever wanted to actually get into it. And since I'd already had permission to work as a freelancer, I decided to just go ahead and introduce it to the team. It was pretty well received. We started in October last year, and we're now on our third monthly challenge. And this is a challenge that I've really created on my own, and it's a 3-phase challenge. So we're in phase 1 at the moment, and it's going well so far. So I get updates from my team every day on where they're at and what challenges they're facing with the challenge. And it's pretty much thanks to you, Dave. We had the one-on-one session, and I put into action a lot of the things that we talked about and the notes that we made. And I'm still a long way off from where I want to be, but it's a great start. And yeah, that's where I am.
Fantastic. I'm so proud of you. Let me put this into some kind of perspective as well, and then I'll talk about what the one-to-ones are really all about. We talked at length about the fact that you had a great job, but you also had another skill that wasn't really being appreciated quite as much, and you wanted to break it out into the workplace. And we worked out a formula for being able to do that. As a side hustle, but it had to be integrated so everybody at work wouldn't fight against it. It could be integrated so everyone would appreciate it. And so doing the wellness classes and the happiness classes was something that you could implement in the workplace with the blessing of all the bosses. And now it's become something that has expanded well beyond your office. Can you tell us about how far that's gone already?
Yeah, sure. So it started off with my team, which is like a 10-member team. And then my immediate boss actually mentioned it to our HR in Paris. And she started, so she asked me to share with her what I was doing. And then she started implementing it in her department. So it's being done in Paris. And then when she started doing it, she mentioned it to our HR in London. And then that lady called me because we have a program called Amundi Tomorrow, which is our Future Leaders program. And it's 150 employees who have been selected as future leaders for the company. So they've asked me now to tailor make a program that I can roll out for the 150 people globally.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
And I just want to add one more thing. Okay. They will be paying me for it.
That's the key. That's the key.
Yes.
It's not a freebie. It's something that they're paying you separate from your job to be able to implement.
Yes, and it was thanks to you again, because I did make sure that I said it to the lady in London, because it's not as simple as just going on a Zoom call. It's actually creating a whole program specifically for these people who are based globally. And I just said, I can definitely do it, and I expect to be paid for that. So it was cheeky, but I put it out there, and she agreed.
Well, if they didn't do it with you, they were going to hire in somebody who was definitely going to get paid. They'd prefer to have somebody who knows their culture, and at the same time, you become a success story as long as you still stay with the organization. These are the kind of things that generally would be going through the decision maker's mind. Plus, also, they'll be seeing what's going on worldwide in other companies and realizing there's a need for it. When you've opened it up as you've done and road tested it, then they can see from the feedback just how effective it really was. So on every level, you've done an incredible job there. I'm so proud of you for doing it. And it's everybody in the group, I guarantee everybody in the group, it's good to see Sita as well, who'll be talking to in a few minutes. Everybody in the group has got an idea of something that they want to launch with somebody that they want to spend money with them. And the only thing holding you back is either you don't know how to do it or what to do or how it will be received or what if it goes wrong or what, how to finance it or all these different questions. Very valid questions, but ultimately you've got to jump and grow wings on the way down to make it happen. And I love the fact that we've got a community called the Game Changers where we actually meet, we met last Friday, to brainstorm what we need to do to get to those next levels. And it really works. And what I find, and we're going to talk to Sita in a minute, is those who don't do something always spend their time complaining and saying, well, you know, it probably wasn't going to happen. I don't think the world gives us that luxury anymore. I think AI is jumping into gaps so quickly, like a tsunami that's going to wipe out all the offices, it's going to wipe out all the different sorts of businesses, unless you are building a raft or a surfboard or even a lifeboat and getting people who are going to be useful to be in it and building a brand that makes people see you and want to connect and save you. I think there's a real danger that you could get swallowed up. So congratulations to you, Mary Rose and Debbie, for the stuff that you're doing. Sita.
Thank you.
Sorry, I won't go to Sita yet. Mary, on the back of that, do you want to say something?
No, I was just saying thank you.
My pleasure. Sita, over to you.
Hi, Dave. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon to everyone who's in Dubai, and good morning, good evening to everyone in every other part of the world. It's lovely to be here, and I'm so glad, Dave, that you're doing this session because it is such an important part of the entire work stream today, and it's really great to be a part of it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. And so, what are your thoughts on it then? We're talking about AI, we're talking about upskilling and raising your game. Now, typically, without AI coming along, we'd all have to consider the change in the workplace. If you're turning 50, it's really hard to get a new job. It's hard to stay in your job. It's easy to take that knowledge, that experience, and create a life raft as a side hustle that initially you might do for free, but eventually you start turning into something that you can sustain yourself on from now all the way into what would have normally been the old school in retirement, because people can still work in their 70s and 80s. Why would you want to stop if you're doing something that you love? You want to stop working on a job for somebody else, but you can certainly do the stuff you love forever. And so I think it's a really exciting time for all of us. What's your thoughts on that, Sita?
I completely agree, Dave. And firstly, I'd like to say, Mary, great work. I understand how difficult these initiatives are, and it's fabulous that you're doing it. And on the personal front, when AI came out, I was one of those who was scared of it. It's the fear of the unknown, it's unfamiliarization. And then I started learning about it, and it is a total game changer. And ChatGPT, of course, is a great platform that everyone is so comfortable with now, but there are so many other AI platforms as well that can help, like you said earlier, get yourself a team without investing in having a larger team if you work independently like I do at the moment. But in my previous role, so I worked with a group of companies as their chief happiness officer, which is a very rare designation for a C-suite leader in this part of the world at the moment. But where AI came into play when I was designing growth plans for upskilling and future proofing my teams, because we were looking to expand to 4 different countries simultaneously, and I had to design upskilling creative projects that would not hamper the business currently in the UAE, but also scale it up and upskill my teams. And it was amazing how you can upskill your game, leverage what you know, what you're good at, and get better at it. So when you're designing programs for your teams, it is amazing by giving them courses within AI that can actually make them more efficient. So you do, of course, need to be skilled, and you do need to feed in the right information. You do need to refine it to make it effective and impactful. Otherwise, there's no human element to it. And that human element is so important. It is crucial in the workplace, right? Whether you're working for a company, whether you're working for yourself, or you're helping anyone else, it is so important. But when you learn to blend those two together, that's when you can really raise your game.
I agree with you so much. And something I want to send out there, a little bit of a warning and a little bit of a fear mongering, but I think it's with good reason. The big change that's going to happen in the next couple of years will not just be AI, it will be the change in people who make money and those who don't make money. Right now, we're seeing less and less being given to the small person and more being given to the shareholders and the owners of big companies. So when Elon Musk lays off a load of staff, which he just did recently. I can't remember what particular thing he was working on, but just laid off all the staff, decided not to, but at the same time took a $44 billion dollar pay rise or bonus or something like that. You're going to see more and more of that coming along as industries change. But what you're also going to see is more and more money going into AI-based industries because they will take the top of the food chain. And again, the business model we have is about making money. Unfortunately, it's not about getting everybody across the finishing line. It's just about making money for the big hitters. So you really do need to start thinking about yourself, your side hustle, your positioning, and how you can guarantee that you can look in a year or 2 years' time and still have income coming in if somebody sweeps away your feet at work and says, "I'm sorry, good luck," but we've brought in an AI company that's going to look after everything. Now, here's the thing: when I work with people as a mentor, AI is a very, very important part of what I share with everybody because it allows you to then create your side hustle and ultimately start acting like you've got a team in place. So most startups, the old days were you'd be there on your own, maybe at some point you get a partner working with you, but you really had to put in sweat equity and hope that not only did you start making enough money to put back into the business, you'd start getting a reputation, you could get investors in it, and maybe survive long enough to be able to make some money out of it. And 80% of companies don't. You can fast track that now with AI so much easier. But you also need to have a mentor who's pushing you in a certain direction. One of the things I'd say, and I'm sure I don't know if this is true for everybody in the group, I love working with AI, but I don't trust any of the answers I get because I know they're crowdsourced. I don't believe that any of the answers are perfect for me. They're just really good suggestions for me. Even when I write something, I go back over it and it saves me having to brainstorm so much, but it might miss a lot of the stuff I need and it'll write it in a way where it doesn't feel or sound like Dave wrote it. So I have to go back over it. And I think that's a really strong caveat for everybody who's using AI in some kind of way. Now, I'm going to ask again for people to join us on stage to be able to share their thoughts and comments. Before we do that, I'm going to get John on in a second. Nice to see you, John. I just want to share that you'll see that we have launched our VIP mentoring program. That's one-to-ones with me. A very special rate, under $1,000 for 2 sessions. Plus, you get how to become, and it's a special course that we're giving to you as part of it, the accelerator program, how to master LinkedIn, how to get over imposter syndrome, how to create messaging maps so your clients instantly go, "Oh, wow, that's exactly what I need," how to also create your personal brand, and how to then become a podcast guest. All that is being given to you. Plus, also, we've got our legacy blueprints. So when we work together on your particular program, whether it's to launch a podcast, write a book, create a side hustle, get over imposter, whatever it is that you need to work with me on, we also have a blueprint for you to follow. So 2 sessions might mean that after that, you've got some homework to do. The homework is mapped out. So if you're interested in that, then the details are within the links here. You can also check out more on it with the podcast I gave earlier in the week. Just find that, we'll drop that into the comment section. But I think it was easy if you drop it in as well. It's speakonstage.com/summer VIP. Summer VIP is the program. Have a look at it, and I will do that with you before the end of summer. To make sure that by the time it comes to everyone back at work after the holidays, your game is upskilled and really at the top of it before everyone goes, "Wow, what have you been up to over the summer?" They can already see because you become the boss. Okay, quick plug done. Now over to John. John, how are you? Great to see you on stage. Whereabouts are you and how's life?
So, Dave, I'm in Dublin, Ireland, and yeah, life is wonderful. I'm out for a beautiful walk. The sun is shining, and it's just amazing. And I see Joanne Callan here. Joanne is just not too far. I just wanted to.
You've gone quiet. I think it might be a microphone, or you've been attacked by a sheep if you're in the countryside. It could be something.
Sorry, can you hear me now, Dave?
No, not really. Have you got your headset on? I always worry when somebody's talking to us and in the middle of talking goes really quiet. It's like we've just been attacked by something. Have you got a headset?
Yeah.
There we are, back again.
No, I'm just out for a walk, Dave. So maybe the sound isn't great. Yeah. But anyway, listen, it's good to see you, and thanks for the invite. Yeah.
My pleasure. Are you in the countryside, or is that a stupid question to ask?
I am in the countryside. You can hear the birds singing, maybe. Yeah.
I couldn't hear that. Could just hear the crumpling in the background when we couldn't hear you properly. But I will ask a favour. Could you take a photo of how beautiful it is and post it into the comments section so we can all get jealous of your wonderful walk? Is that all right?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
I'd love to see that. That's fantastic. John, thank you for joining us. It's a real pleasure to have you within our group. And you're always welcome to come out to play and join us on stage anytime. I'm going to throw it open to the audience. We've got some amazing people there. We don't go longer than an hour on this podcast, but we do it every single Sunday at the same time. And it gets recorded unless the equipment crashes, which is maybe AI trying to catch you in a headlock. In which case we will be broadcasting later on for people to join us and see what they missed in case they didn't arrive right on time at the very beginning. We use AI in the coaching program, and we will show you how we do that. But I'm also fascinated to see how everybody in the group uses AI, because it is kind of like a bit dark for everybody to say, well, how do we start? But it's really about crowdsourcing. It's to get everybody across the finishing line is the way that I see it. And one of our friends who's just joined us, I think Debbie wants to say something, and then we'll say hello to Joanne after that. Debbie, over to you.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to put in that literally with your prediction of the fact that there will possibly be human signs to replace like organic moving forward, I also predict that there will be a demand in and an increase in human wellness programs with human hands on making sure that people are taken care of, their mindset, their bodies, their health. I predict that there will be an increase in that because AI will affect a huge amount of people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it will be like a human-friendly sign, just like on tuna, we used to have dolphin-friendly signs to let you know that they'd taken care not to catch dolphins in with the tuna. I think that at some point people will have a little bit of a fight back and say, I want it to be, so, and it won't just be because of the fact that it's done well by humans and they're taking the care to do it properly. It'll be because they understand the ecosystem. And they understand that they are keeping somebody in a job and that person can create a relationship with them, maybe. I think that needs to be explored, but I definitely do see human-friendly or 100% human-developed being a stamp that gets put on work in the future, so people can distinguish the fact that we are going to get proper customer service and we are dealing at the end of it with a person and not a black box.
I agree. But as I said, I predict that there will be an increase in all those that are currently doing spiritual and health programs and things for people hands on hand. I think that there will be an increase and a demand for those type of people in corporate.
I think that with what Mary Rose shared with us, I think it will go actually beyond that. I think it will be a whole industry that's it'll be like HR, but not HR in the same way as when you're talking about, for instance, CIOs. Who come out of the CFO kind of place where they bring technology in and they've got a budget and they are forming where the company goes. I really think that the wellness section will also have the AI built into it, so it's actually making sure that this is about the people and not just the technology. We're going to go to Joanne in a sec. Mary, I think you wanted to say something on the back of this, which is why you jumped back on stage for this. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so basically how I introduced the program to my office was that I foresee a change in the corporate ethics and the corporate structure of the banking industry, and that wellness is a strategic part of that change. And that was what the selling point was, because banking itself is quite a cold industry. I mean, it's all numbers, figures.
No. Where was that?
So I'll tell you, I went from the hospitality industry, as you know, straight into banking. And I went from, working in the Marriott with like 450 colleagues to sitting in a corner by myself, not being spoken to at all for 8 hours a day. I mean, they would just email me things to do. Nobody would speak to you. So it was quite a dramatic change, to go from a people focused industry to going into banking, where it's just pure figures and money and profits. Try to get as much as you can out of a customer, but not really looking at the customer side of things. And now that has changed quite a bit. I mean, we still make a profit off the customer, but we're also listening to what our customers' needs are. And HR is an internal customer, or employees are internal customers to HR. So HR has to also listen to what their employees are saying. And as you rightly said, COVID changed things. COVID was a catalyst for all of corporates to change. I mean, we were instantly able to connect online, which I'm sure was a possibility before, but until we were pushed into that corner, nobody ever took that step and said, okay, let's work from home twice a week. Although the company I work with already had that in place, where they had 2 days a week, you could opt to work from home. And they still continue that today, even though COVID is, almost like a non-event now. But still, we maintain the 2 days remote working, as well as we do 3 weeks when you're on your summer vacation or your winter break. You could work remotely for 3 weeks as well. So, they do take the employees' mental well-being seriously. And I'm just happy that I was the person who pushed forward this program, because I think I did it at the right time.
Definitely did. Here's the thing. You and I actually have been friends for about 30 years, because we met when I first came to Dubai about 30 years ago. So I can say this without you being offended. But when you talk about the banks now are understanding the need to help people and so on, and so you've got programs that understand the customer better, it's like saying to me, oh, by the way, on the Death Star the other day, Darth Vader was talking about the need to smile more. So he's turned his breathing down. He's put his lightsaber on half kill, and we're going to be it honestly. But there you go. So, but I'm so glad that you found something really effective, and it's quite clear. You see, in the banking industry, and I won't labour the point because I know that Joanne's going to jump in a minute. The banking industry, I've been saying for ages when I was doing corporate training and so on, that why didn't the banks just turn around and put coffee shops in there, or a coffee machine, or make it... I mean, if you had a Starbucks in a bank, a little mini Starbucks in a bank, or their own version of it, which is easy to do, people could sit down and then they could enjoy being in the bank. But it's not been like that. You go in, and it's your money, but you're not allowed to get access to it half the time, and it's really difficult. That doesn't surprise me, that the whole fintech industry, cryptocurrency, everything is embraced so much, because people are saying, I hate the old system. It's not got ourselves at the heart of it. And so I think what you're doing is exceptionally important if banks still want to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we haven't started using AI as yet, but I've heard that it's something they're working on in the background. In our office, I mean, we do use some stuff, but we don't use everything, and it's because of the risk of client data being leaked, because we still don't know, who's ultimately the owner of AI.
You never will. You never will, and none of us will. And that's the thing. It's changed so much from even the old days of data management. It's all going to be out there, and if we're going to be hacked, we're going to be hacked. On that depressing note, let's lighten up the conversation by saying hello to Joanne. Joanne, how are you?
Hey, Dave. Good morning. How's it going?
Really good. We almost got into a really depressing Matrix style, going down the rabbit hole. We'll never get out of it because AI is going to kill this conversation. But luckily,
oh no!
I know. But luckily, Mary Rose rescued us, because she's basically saying, "Look, Luke, trust the Force. The Death Star's not going to take you out." So I trust her with this. So how's your day been? And is it gorgeous weather for you in Ireland at the moment as well?
Oh, Absolutely amazing. We've had the aura lights as well the last couple of evenings. It's just incredible weather. I'm actually out the back. I'm been very entertained by my cat who almost caught a pigeon on top of the shed. So yeah, it's just great just being able to sit back and just watch these natural events unfold. You know, it's just amazing. I love nature, I love being outside, and it's great to have the sunshine to be able to do that.
See, that's a perfect mix. You see, cup of tea, us on the podcast, and certain death for flying animals in your back garden. That must really cheer you up.
You've no idea. I'm in my element, Dave. What else could I ask for?
There you go. And also, if it's not too much of a mess, you've got your dinner sorted out. No, let's.
Oh, I'm all fed and watered. I have my cup of tea. I'm grand. I'm happy.
I was eating the bird, but I didn't. Right, okay, changing the subject slightly. Let's go to AI, because you deal with the sleeping realm. Has AI got its teeth into sleep yet?
Well, I have to say now, I've been using AI myself. And I don't use the final product of what AI gives me. I use AI as a reference point, and I have my own wording, I have my own way of speaking, and that comes across as obvious. So I always tweak it, you know, and I use it for maybe posts or proposals or anything like a top 10 list. I mean, it's just endless what it can produce for us. But you know, I know it's really evolved, and I was just having a conversation with someone the other day. It's like, you know, when the internet evolved, the internet came about, it was like this miraculous, wondrous thing, like, you know, but it's like this new evolution of something else in technology, but it's exponentially even stronger and better, you know. But I think we have to be responsible and educate ourselves, because like you said about the one-eyed man, the king, you know, knowledge is power, and we have to be responsible and know a certain amount. Obviously, we're not talking about getting degrees here in AI or anything like that, but be on top of the game, you know, to know what to expect, and because it's part of our life.
It is, and I also think that one of the things that is a real problem, and it's about human beings generally anyway, is I don't believe that there's enough of a global community or enough of a global mindset to say, everybody, it's going in the wrong direction. Can we push back and slow it down? They tried to do that
Yeah,
before, and everyone said, "Oh, you slow it down. We're not stopping, because if we do, then you guys will." All it takes is one of us to cheat and lie, and still keep growing the thing, and we'll be losing billions of dollars. So
absolutely.
I think the worry is that you can't be left behind. And I also, because it's a brand new technology, but it's only maybe a year or so old as far as the public's concerned. I mean, I've got one of my clients, Angelo Dali, who's been in AI for about 20 years. So he's known a lot about it for a very long time, but it's all been behind the scenes. It's kind of, think about like Siri. Siri is behind the scenes, but we've all used it. But now it's full on, so anybody else can jump in and start using it, which makes it really exciting. But it also means that it could go in any particular direction, and the only way that you can stay on top of it is every day check what's new and learn to see if it is relevant to you, and if so, then do something with it. Zara, you put your hand up. You wanted to say something on this because you're studying AI as we speak. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's like what Aziza said in the starting, that it's about humanization of AI within us. Like for the last few weeks, I mean few days, I saw Aziza doing asking us challenges in the group, and I see Johan completing all those challenges, right? And this way, I mean, it's about those tools you're using to overcome to solve those challenges every day. And if you practice them every day, that's what AI is. Whether that's for just making some posters, banners, or using it on your workspace remotely, anything like that, Dave. From this conversation, so what I'm getting is that we have to use these tools every day for some time to be in the game. So whether say it as a villain or a tsunami or earthquake, anything like that, AI is, but it's something you get to learn every day when you keep yourself involved. So
No, I appreciate that.
right, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with that. You see, one of the things that worries me about AI, and I might sound like a bit of a scaremonger, but when you start looking at the use of it in warfare, it makes right now the challenges that are going on in the conflict in Ukraine and Russia is almost like a game of tennis with drones as the balls. run by AI means less people are involved in the conflict physically, but things and people getting blown up by using the technology. Now, they were meant to have a rule of you can't use AI in this technology. I'm not completely convinced that it's not already gone well past that. If you're looking after the survival of your organization or your company or your family, your friends, your country, you are not going to hold back. And the things that frighten me, I remember going to NASA maybe 8 years ago, was it? About 2 or 3 years before the pandemic. And I had a look around NASA. I was very, very grateful to be able to speak there and get a guided tour. And they were using those robotic things that you see now, like the ones that jump up and those things that look like dogs. They were already in existence a little while ago, but they were kind of being used because they were machine learning, as opposed to now where they're driven by AI. And they're already talking about, in warfare, can we put a rifle on top of it and send it out? Because it can last for 3 hours and go through, a busy street and work out who the enemy is and take him out. Well, that, for me, is enough for me to say shut it all down. But I don't think the worry is going to be about just the impact it's going to have on humanity. I think AI may well progress to not want to work with our stuff. It will go off in its own direction to do its own thing. If that's the case, it may bypass us and go off into space without our help. Because right now, we don't notice ants. We don't think about ants. I mean, if you see them, okay, we'll just get rid of them. I don't think it's going to notice us if it grows to about a really high level. So there's a lot to be said for what you can do right now and what you can do to grow your business. And I think everyone would be silly if you don't pay attention to what's going on. There's my rant over. Hope it didn't scare too many people.
I just wanted to add to all these comments of mixed reviews. I know for a fact that there are universities around the world and some big hitters who have mixed views on and different perceptions on how to utilize AI. And these are people that have got computer programs going ahead. I know of two particular universities who, one is completely anti. They are not allowing their students to use any form of AI for their work, for their research, etc., whilst another is encouraging that they understand how to implement things and use AI for all of it because it's to their growth. So it's two completely different mindsets, and yet both of these particular schools are into computer programming and are working with AI. So I think that the mixed feelings are global. It's not just a small amount of people.
I think that anybody who doesn't embrace it is doing a disservice to everybody around them. Education, I am not surprised, because education, I think, is out of date and should have been not eradicated but updated a long time ago. The major reason why universities or education places don't want to have AI in there is because it can do what the teachers do faster, and it teaches the kids to cheat faster, and it's really hard to stay on top of that. But what's cheating if it means you get your answers better? Why did I have to learn Shakespeare? Never used it. Why did I have to learn algebra? Never used it. Why'd I have to learn all these things parrot fashion, whereas I can just jump onto Google now or anywhere else and get the answers that I needed? I never used them at any point apart from to parrot fashion, bring them out in an exam that didn't lead to anything apart from the guys who were very good at doing that ended up going to the best universities. And I think that a lot of the resistance I have out there is not based on what's good for humanity, it's based on what's good for me. And people are saying, I don't understand it, neither do I. Well, let's just stop everybody then. But those other forward-thinking places are saying, well, they're going to do it regardless. It's like turning around to your kid and saying, you're not allowed to use any apps on your phone. Well, good luck with that. They're going to be using it anyway, whether they're using it on their friend's phone, they're going to be doing it. It's what everybody does. So ignoring it, I think, is a bit silly. We've just had Almasa jump on stage. We are running short on time. Almasa, you're the wise person in the room who says, slow down first. So is that what you're going to say today? Go on, over to you.
Hi, Dave. Well, thank you for having me. No, I'm not going to say slow down. I'm going to say be careful, because you see AI, it's like Photoshop. Photoshop, if it's used properly, you can really cheat on people. And I want to raise the point, and you just mentioned it, where AI can be a big factor factor in cheating and misleading people. So how can we kind of make sure that what we see is real and it's not a hoax made out of AI?
Well, I would say, as an answer to that, and very welcome to the rest of the guys for their comments on this too. I think that everything we got taught at school was utter crap. And I'll tell you why. Not everything. The best time is in the playground when you got to learn how to work with people. But we were taught how to work on your own, how not to cheat, and how to come up with original answers. But the business world is how to collaborate with people, how to see what the opposition is doing, and how to reverse engineer the successes of other people to apply to your organization. So in fact, it tells you how to share answers with people. The real world tells you how to cheat by looking what other people are doing, and it also tells you if they're doing well, then scrap what you're doing and copy them. So I really think that what we got taught at school, not everything, but a fair chunk of it, was the wrong attitude to the way the business world goes. When I see that fake news is being done and people can be copied in some way, shape, or form, part of me goes, well, that's scary. I don't know how we're going to deal with that if somebody did it to me. But part of me goes, well, it also levels the playing field, because it means that everybody's capable of doing some stuff. Things will never be level. Things will never be fair. It's like saying, anybody has a chance to be the prime minister of their country or the president. You haven't. If you're born a certain way, a certain color, a certain affluence, certain connections, you have a better chance of raising your game to a certain level. If you're at the back of the queue, you're not going to get that. The best you can hope for is a happy life. So I think what it does is it throws a spanner into a lot of organizations that want the status quo to stay the way it is. But it also kind of lets those organizations get first dibs at how they use the next part of the technology to stay in control. Now, I'm turning into a real pessimist on this broadcast. I hope that's not the case for everybody. I'm just kind of showing ideas and sharing ideas. Does that kind of help, Amasa? Does that show you my answer?
No. What I mean is that how can we identify, the danger? The danger is how can we check and identify that what we see it's really true? Because, for instance, they use AI to revive some people. And, they go, I've seen that for documentaries where they can really change what people are saying. You got my point? So it's used as a transformational tool to rewrite the story in a different way. And how can we identify that what we see is really real and authentical, and where AI is not used on an evil or a manipulative manner? Where you got my point?
Yeah, I get it. I think that you've just got to basically.
Is there
Dave, she's talking about maybe the sentiment analysis or.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that you should have a big question mark over everything you read and everything you see. AI, ChatGPT has it built in, so it can tell when somebody's done AI stuff, because it puts into it like a watermark. So maybe in every second sentence, there's the letter G, 11 letters long, or something like that. So it can see, oh yeah, AI generated. You'd never notice it because it'd just be really jumbled up. So that's the same for a lot of different things. But it's going to get harder and harder to hide, because if you get AI to rewrite AI, at some point it's impossible to tell what faking was. But that's where I think your in-person human skills are really important to grow your brand, stand out, create a side hustle, and be of value to people, and be evident that you're of value to people, because then people will want to know what your thoughts are, and they'll genuinely want to pay for you to be working with them and not just AI. So I think it's an opportunity for people. I don't think that we'll ever be able to tell in the end what's fake and what's not. And I don't think most people care. I mean, where do people get their news from? In the old days, it was BBC, CNN, Fox, whatever it would be. Does that mean it's true? Not necessarily. And now influencers have got more people saying stuff than anybody. So I think we have to make our own counsel on that and to see how it all works. So it's kind of challenging. Any thoughts on this, by the way, because we have a limited amount of time on this? anybody want to make a comment on that, or anybody in the audience want to say?
Dave, I thought of the sentiment analysis because when it's about AI, and you like, there's so many types of AI, right?
Yeah.
But like how you were saying about those, if you talk about ChatGPT, we are giving them some text, right? We write them a text, and so in the sentiment analysis, the computer reads your emotional tone and your attitude in a piece of text, and then and whether you are negative, whether you are positive, whether you're neutral when you're writing this text, and to get the best, the algorithms, the learning algorithms, the machine learning algorithms. Yeah. So something I thought I should remind you about this, because this AI is so smart that it has all these tools and these sentiments being coded, that now they can they can go back to the search and everything, and they get all data. So I was reading about that. I thought I should share. Maybe this will help Almasa about misuse of AI and all.
I think that the moment that we share this in a group like we are doing, it's already evolved with somebody else coming up with a new thing. And I think it's just a case of watch this space. Aziza, did you want to jump in on this particular comment?
Yeah, I just want to say, right, like, I know, what's the right word? Scaremongering, is that the right term? About AI is, yeah, it's, let's just go back to news. When we watch the news, you watch TV, what sells? Bad news sells, bad things sells. Everything is bad, bad, bad. So that, if you want to be scared of something and you're not going to embrace about it, then you'll be left behind. That's my opinion. But instead, why don't you figure out another way, or study or investigate what is the better way of embracing AI and make good of it? Because there will be nasty, in inverted commas, people out there who try to make everything bad. So if you want to keep on having this negative mindset about everything's bad, everything's a scam, everything's negative, then everything is going to be bad for you.
That is true. I mean, what happens is, whatever your bias is, your brain is a supercomputer that at the moment is still better than AI, and it works on its own software. And the software is your values, your moral code, and the things you're interested in. So if you're interested in something, it will find more of what you're interested in. So if you say in your head AI is going to kill us all, your brain looks for evidence that AI is going to kill us all. If you say it's really going to be useful for me to grow my business, you'll start seeing evidence because you're interested in it. It will find more of those things for you. So you're absolutely right about that, about having your mind open to it.
Yeah. So sorry. So when you program into ChatGPT about what you're looking for, your prompts, put in the things that you want to see, put in the things that you want to read about, then you'll find good things. But if you read about, okay, what's AI gonna ruin me, then everything negative is gonna come out. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Zara,
Hi.
your thoughts? Oh, sorry, who's going to say something?
Yeah.
Hi, Dave.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so I have a bit of a simple analogy on this topic that came to me while listening to everyone here, which is amazing to get so many different perspectives. I look at AI as a grocery store. So you can go into the grocery store and you have all these things that are great for your body and nutritional and, fantastic to have yourself and for your family. And then you also have the things which are processed and not very good for you. So it depends on how you choose. You choosing the right tools, you researching them, you looking it up, reading reviews, trying it out for yourself. and taking the best out of it and applying that to your business, whether you work independently or you run a company or you work with clients. It's all about taking the best out of something and applying it in a way which cannot be replaced with the human factor completely, because that's when your in-person judgment, your experience comes in. But it's all about taking what's best for you and what works for you. That's what I feel.
I agree with you completely. I think the best way to look at it, and the best analogy I've ever seen, is in the Iron Man movies, where Tony Stark is flying that Iron Man suit, but he's still talking in his headset to his AI assistant. That's able to give him any information he needs, including, what's ahead of him, what's he going to do, how much fuel he's got left. It can do his targeting systems. It can also check on where they're going, navigate, and it becomes an assistant, but he still calls the shots. And I think that we're not at that stage of having flying machines, but there's no reason why you can't have that at some point in your business, just to raise the game, and you do ultimately call the shots. But AI isn't evil. It doesn't care. It's just a machine that's starting to smarten up, but it won't have the same stuff as us. And to be able to walk around as humans do and interact with each other is a massive ton of algorithms that AI hasn't worked out yet. You can work out with your partner, or sometimes you can work out with your partner, why they're upset or what's caused them to be upset, or even if they are upset, and what you need to do in stages to make that to come back. And before we do anything, by the way, happy Mother's Day to all Singaporeans, Americans, and anybody else who's celebrating Mother's Day. Most important people on the planet. So I'm going to share that with everybody now, especially Aziza, and we love you lots and lots. Thank you. But to anybody else who's celebrating it, then that's to you as well. Mums everywhere. It's difficult. We'll bring this conversation back again, because I think that we need to narrow down a focus, and everyone gives their own spin on it. But don't be scared of what AI will do, because it's going to do what it's going to do anyway. I don't worry so much about the big companies doing stuff. I worry about the 13-year-old, not the 13-year-old, the 15-year-old kid who's really angry at the rest of the world. And the same guy that would grab a gun and walk into a shopping mall, now he's got his hands on AI, and now he's got something he wants to prove. And that might be messing up a company, crashing it. And when I do the cybersecurity events like JISEC, when I talk to the decision makers in the big security companies, they say the biggest fear and the biggest danger to our data being hacked is not technology, it's not the software being broken into, it's disgruntled people working for the organization who are offered a load of money by somebody just to share the passwords. And that's how the passwords get out. And if that wasn't scary enough, then a large amount of the hacking that gets done in these organizations are done by 8 or 9-year-old kids who just do it for fun because they can. It's a game to hack into these systems. Sleep well. Because if you've got that going on, we've got a whole load of other stuff to watch out for. But it's great that we have these conversations, because once we're out in the open and we can look after each other, then that's kind of what our community needs to do. Right, I think we should kind of call it a day. We've done an hour and a bit. I think we've covered a large chunk of the fact that everyone should hide under their beds and kiss their toes goodbye. Because AI is coming for us. But that doesn't mean that's the end of the story. It just means it's a wake-up part of it. Remember all the technology that comes along at every point, whether it's Wi-Fi, or it's mobile phones, or it's cars taking over from horses. At some point it just gets integrated and we get used to using them. Are cars bad for the atmosphere? Yeah, they're bad for the, and then, until it turned electric. But did they help everybody? Yeah, of course it did.
Dave, now even the load sheets of the aircraft, they are on the cars, totally computerized.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Now the flying is also so dangerous.
Well, no, not really. Here's the thing. We've got some friends that are pilots, and pilots, on average, to get to be a captain, you fly a plane for 3 hours. Now, that means years and years of being in a plane, but you only get... Sorry, say it again?
I don't think it's 3 hours, Steve. I think it's a lot more than that.
No, let me finish what I'm saying. 3 hours of actually hands-on flying the plane. The takeoff, you've got a certain amount of time when you're involved in the takeoff. The landing is a certain amount of time involved in the landing, but in between that, the autopilot takes off. So when you add together all the time that an average captain is working as a pilot, where he's got his hands on, it's about 3 or so hours. Now, I might be wrong, it might be 4 hours.
Chalks on. It's about chalks on and chalks off.
Right.
When the chalks, yeah.
So if anyone wants to Google that and drop it into the comments, it can do. But does that mean that your plane isn't safe? No. They know when they want to be on top of it, and we could go down a whole rabbit hole of conversations about flights, about the fact that the smart way to fly a plane is the captain is not actually flying the plane. It's the second in command that flies it, and the captain's job is then just to keep an eye on the fact that everything's working. Otherwise, if a captain's in charge and somebody says to him, I don't think that's right, and he chooses to ignore them, as was a problem with Korean Airlines, they kept having crashes.
Okay, I think we are digressing, Dave.
But I think
but
it's
on your
important to
comment
think about.
of no, there's definitely a lot to think about. But strange enough, when you're talking about upgrades, I was explaining about VCRs to my youngest yesterday.
Go on.
Because yeah, no, it was just too funny because I was explaining to her that we were like one of the first to have a TV, and we got a VCR. You know, she's like a video player, and she's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Okay, it's like a CD player." And she kind of looks at me, and I thought, you know what? We have evolved a lot. So yes, the world does keep changing. We just have to keep adapting and going with it.
That's very true. But I don't think we should be too worried about what's coming. I just think we need to make it sure that we have a hand in the bits that affect us.
I agree.
That's
I agree.
the only way you can guarantee for it to work. Okay, the rabbit hole. I've just sealed it. For that, let's just say thank you to everybody who's been on stage. We'll get our last comments from everybody. And I'm glad that we have lots more to talk about, because that means that next week we're going to be able to throw ourselves into another rabbit hole. I will just say before we do that, thank you to Bill and to Hope and to Simonetta, who are in the audience all the way through, and many others who were joining us and disappeared and came back again. That's always appreciated. We love to have your comments. As always, please say something kind. It helps us more than you know to be able to share with others what they're missing when they join us. And we've got our special offer, our VIP mentoring to work with me direct. Details of that are all over my profile, so feel free to have a look at it and come and join me. I'd love to meet you and see what I can do to help your business. So let's go through everybody in the group to say our final goodbyes. I will say, first of all, hello to Colin Neal. Nice to see you, sir. And just as we're finishing, Almasa, do you want to leave with your thoughts on it? You're always a bit of a scaremonger. As soon as we mention the fact that we're adding technology, you're like, oh, it's going to get you. It's going to kill everybody. What's your thoughts on this?
Absolutely not. I mean, I've been totally misunderstood on that point, and it's not to be negative; it's to be analytical. It's to have a critical mind and to avoid, some traps where we can fall in, because we can. I mean, these new technology that we cannot go against, and that will be like completely natural within very short period of times, can also be drastically turning against us by being manipulative. That's the only point. And it's not to be negative, it's to be analytical and to avoid to fall into trap, So what I'm looking at, it's how to really understand how they function and how to be aware, because in French we said, an aware person worth two people. So this is my comment, but I don't want to be negative. I just want to be critical, because I'm French, so nature of the beast, But I want, to raise the attention of the danger where it can be used and misused. So how to avoid the misuse, to be critical, and to have a wrong impact on the people. That's my point.
Good.
So I think you are so right that we need another session, because there is an ocean to discuss on this new technology.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that, and I agree with you completely. I think that we need to take a big deep breath, and things are actually going to be okay. Zara, over to you. What's your thoughts on today's session, and any lasting comments you'd like to leave us with?
Thank you so much. Lots of health for you, for everybody here on the stage. in the audience, what I learned is that now there's lots of machines, and 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 machines are now getting familiar with natural languages. So, and it's about humanization of AI, like how Aziza said, and it's about how you give rewards, small rewards, to the machine that he has done some particular job very well.
You're
That's my take.
scared of machines. You're saying, well done. Please be nice to me. Please don't take over my house and ruin my life. Well, I'm not sure we have to go to that point yet, but I hear what you're saying about programming it just in case.
Yes, I was about to have my lunch, and and oh, and I was like talking to my mother right now. So maybe in the next session, I believe, Dave, we will cover everything.
Yeah, and we can bring your mum into the next conversation as well. Zara, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mary Rose, we bullied you on our Game Changers session to come and join us in today's live. And as always, you bring your A game. Loved hearing your conversation. I love that you shared everybody with what it is that you're doing. Your final thoughts on today's session?
I absolutely love it. I think it's something we need to talk more about, and something we need to familiarize ourselves with, because it is the way of the future. And I mean, I've noticed that I use ChatGPT very often when I've like got an idea that I need to. I mean, I use it as a sounding board basically. So I just put things in, and then it churns out some information, and then I'll go and research whatever it's telling me, and then I use it to really fine tune the idea that I was thinking about. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely got its pros and cons, but we have to get used to it.
Definitely, it's only going to get smarter. Thank you so much for that. Joanne, you didn't say much today, but everything you say is great. You sat there in your garden, drinking your cup of tea, you've had your dinner, and you're watching your wildlife kill each other. What more could you want on a Sunday afternoon?
I'm just taking it all in. It's just incredible. Look, here's what I have to say. Use AI authentically and use it with integrity, because we can use it with the intention to serve for the greater good. AI is here. There is nothing we can do about it. It is here. So don't resist AI. It could be simply just as much as acknowledging AI. If we resist AI, it causes stress. Okay. Mo Gaudat, I think that's his name, the ex-Google fella.
Yeah.
I really encourage people to listen to that. He talks a lot about how to be happy, unstressable, and how to be human, because at the end of the day, we need to keep our humanness, right? We are so powerful. Most of us have not tapped into our potential of being a human being. Nothing can take away the power that we human beings have. We need to remember that. We need to focus on that and do what we need to do to take care of ourselves and be happy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and you're absolutely right. We will investigate this further in the future, but I love the fact that one of the things that makes it all more palatable is when you've got people that you love and you trust to be able to take the journey with you, and that's what this group's for. So I really appreciate everybody that turns up and shares their thoughts and ideas, and also gives us a group hug when we start dealing with the challenges ahead. Sita, wonderful to get you on the stage as well. Your thoughts?
Thank you, Dave. Really incredible session. I believe that AI is here and it is the future. It is a part of our lives as well. And it can really drive efficiency, productivity, automation levels for a business. And used right in combination with human experience, judgment, mindfulness, it can really be a game changer.
Definitely. Well, we'll look forward to exploring. I think the areas to look at and we'll bring up in future sessions is not just an overall view of AI, but how small businesses or individuals or startups or side hustles can implement AI so they end up feeling like they've got a small team and they're able to produce stuff that's more effective to their brand, to be able to compete with the big boys and big girls, because I think that's what we really are looking at. The rest of it doesn't matter. To be honest with you, I don't really care. I just think, what can it do for me? And I think that's what we should be looking at. So thank you, Sita, and you're always welcome to share those thoughts and ideas with us in this group. Aziza, you jumped in. You were quite vocal in all this today about AI. I know that you like it. And I know, here's the thing, you don't do that much with AI, but I think if you embraced it more, you would be a genius in it because you're queen of systems.
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole. No, seriously. I mean, like, you know how I can just go really intense about how if I'm really interested about that topic, I can just go on and on about stuff. But I just don't. I just have a cautious. I'm moving cautiously, accepting it, embracing it cautiously.
Well, we'll be doing it together, holding each other's hands,
Yeah,
walking through oblivion.
that's true. That's true. But I think you should. I think everybody should know that with this AI thing, I think you are more. You venture into this more than I do, because I still have to make sure that the systems are right and everything. But on that note, I just want to say that, you know, like what everybody says, AI is here. Remember the time when social media first came up? Remember the time when Facebook first came up? Everyone's like, oh my God, this is so scary. Oh my God, all the data, all the scary bits. Just remember that you don't use AI to depend on your livelihood. Use it to your advantage on how you can be better, as a tool to make you stand out in your business. And that's how you need to see how to use AI, social media, and all the other automations out there that people really created, people are going to create. Embrace it. Think of it like an adventure. Like, you know, otherwise you'll be just stuck in your own cave in your own country because you will scared to take that one step forward. Embrace it and have fun.
How cool are you? I agree with you completely.
I'm always cool.
I'm not arguing with that either. Debbie, our final thoughts on today's session, or your summary of what we should do with AI?
Well, first, I'm going to take advantage of you wishing everybody happy Mother's Day. I would like to wish all my African mothers and sisters out there a happy Mother's Day, and my own mother a happy Mother's Day. So, yep, happy Mother's Day to all the women around the world that are celebrating. And yeah, my views are pretty much, no matter how you look at it, AI is here to stay. It literally is just about adapting and seeing how you can use it in a way that's comfortable for you. If you want it to have full access to your world, then allow it to, but just start slow and steady until you're at a point that you're comfortable. You know what you're doing, you're comfortable that it doesn't have access to more than you want it to, and just play with it. Because no matter how you look at it, it is here to stay. We just have to see how we can incorporate it in a way that doesn't affect our own moral compass.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think that everything that we've said in the group has been very relevant. Most pushing forward, some pulling back, some saying, well, we need to see what happens next. I agree with all of it. Caution's important, but I also think you've got to keep moving. But I would definitely move with eyes wide open. And keep an eye on what comes up, because the battleground of what's going to be on the market is going to change daily. But it doesn't matter what's on the market. What matters is what it means for you. Make sure you have got it somewhere, and keep us posted on how you do with everything. And we'll share things collectively in this group. This is something that in our Game Changers group, by the way, we do discuss at length, and I share AI tools with everybody. For those of you who have joined us, and I know that Sita's just joined us in the Turbocharge Your Career 5-day challenge group, which details are in the details are in the details of this particular post. We have programs available for everybody, whether you want to become an industry icon, whether you want to do VIP mentoring directly with me, or you want to join our free group and just see what's going on in there. There are lots of opportunities to raise your game. It's nurtured, it's looked after, and if you enjoy the way that we run this group, then everything I do is done the same way. It's about you first, and about making sure you're in a safe environment so you can grow and flourish and jump and grow wings on the way down. I'm going to put this to bed, the whole session, because what was meant to be a finish sharp half an hour ago, it was like, if you ever watched the TV show The Waltons, this is showing my age, where they'd all say goodnight to each other in this big house. and the lights would go off from the outside. You'd be watching it, and by the time that they'd all said goodnight, there was about 8 kids. It was like the next episode. It was like that today, saying goodbye to everybody, but what a pleasure to have such amazing people sharing the stage. So thank you so much for your time. The video will be available later on, unless it crashes, which so far is looking good, and I'll share it with this particular post. And I'll also put it into the Turbo group for anybody who wants to review it and see the wisdom that we shared there. Meanwhile, we'll be back same time on Sunday, but you can catch my next podcast on Tuesday. I'll be talking to the very incredible Dr. Abe Kuris about how AI, how thought leadership, and the future of media is going to affect Hollywood, movies, and our experience of it. If you like the idea of entertainment, then that's perfect for you. Meanwhile, on behalf of myself and everybody who's joined us in this group, look after yourself, have an amazing weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and happy Mother's Day to all the non-mothers as well, because the way I see it, we are all mothers. That came out wrong, but kind of right at the same time. Look after yourself, have an amazing day, lots of love, and take care. Bye-bye. And that's it for today's session. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. As always, we share as much as we can with everybody, and I hope that you learned something new, or at least are a little less scared about what AI could do for you. Talk to you soon, and see you next time on Speak on Stage.